Hey guys, what's going on? Sam Bosworth here. I just wanted to do another video as sort of an update to my previous CMT disability video, which if you haven't seen, you can go and watch here or here. I don't know which side it's going to be on because I'm quite new to this. But I just wanted to say thank you guys so much for the support that video's got. It's sitting at over 4,000 views now, which is more than my videos usually get, and the comments have just been so positive. I'm just really glad it seems to have helped some people, and I'm just elated that it's gone as well as it has. So thank you guys so much for the support there. I am looking to do some more videos like this now, because I do quite enjoy making YouTube content, and I've really enjoyed the sort of help it seems to have given other people. So if you have any questions or any ideas for other videos I can do, then please leave me some suggestions down in the comments. So in this video, I just wanted to make sort of an update on my situation before I go ahead and make other disability videos, just to keep people up to date with how I'm doing and what my situation is. Now, if you watched the last video, you'll know I have something called Charcot-Marie-Tooth disease, which is a form of peripheral neuropathy. So that sort of affects my feet, my hands, my arms, my legs. It means I can't walk particularly well. I usually am on crutches or in a wheelchair, and I have quite bad back pain because of this, as well as a curved spine. It means I take a lot of medication every day. It means I have chronic fatigue, which makes me sleep a lot. I'm only really up for sort of 10 hours a day, if that. I sleep in the majority of the day and miss out on doing quite a lot. So I'm trying to use my energy to do things like this, which are positive and I enjoy doing, and can maybe help a few people. So I guess I'll start with things that have changed since my last video. Basically my chronic fatigue has gotten a lot worse. When I was doing the last video, I was sort of going to bed around midnight and I'd be getting up sort of at 9ish. But now I take more medication, which if you remember from the last video is tramadol and naproxen. And due to that, and just obviously the chronic fatigue, I'm now going to bed at like 2 in the morning, 1 in the morning, taking forever to get to sleep, and then maybe getting up at 2 or 3 in the afternoon of the next day, if I don't have anything to be up for. And if I do have something to be up for, it generally makes me feel incredibly ill. Being up early, I'm sick if I have to get up really early. It makes taking my medication much harder because it doesn't sit as well on my stomach. And obviously I'm lethargic, I'm in a bad mood, and it affects my mental health as well. So that's been quite a big change, but it is something that I have learned to deal with. You'll have seen in my last video, I try and have a positive outlook on everything I do, and I really don't want to let something like that get me down. So on days where I have high energy, like now where I'm full of coffee, food, and my medication, it's nearly 4 in the afternoon, I try and do something positive like this. I try and film a video, or I'll work on my music stuff because that's kind of my job, or I clean the house if I have the energy to do something like that. I'll just generally try and do something that's going to leave me at the end of the day thinking I achieved something today, whether it's something small like just having a shower, getting dressed, just feeling human for the day, or whether it's something like this, which is more positive and I enjoy doing. On top of that, my back pain has gotten quite a bit worse. I sit in this specially made chair I got from my university that I used to go to. And although it is memory foam and it is built to my specifications, it doesn't mean I can spend all day sitting here, which is something I would usually do because I love being on my PC. I play games, I'm into YouTube, obviously I spend a lot of hours on there. I'm into tech as well, and then obviously my music kind of feeds into the PC as well, so all that leaves me here quite a bit of the day, but I've started to not really be able to sit at my desk as comfortably or for as long as I used to. So now I'm spending like a lot of day either just stuck on the sofa or usually stuck in bed, because obviously that is the comfiest place to be for my back, as long as I've taken my meds, etc, etc. However, again, as I mentioned with the chronic fatigue, I've learned to sort of structure my day around these things. So I think, right, well, I'll get up, my back's going to be best then, I'll get on my PC, I'll do whatever I want to do, whatever I have to do, whether it's shooting off some emails from my music work or whether it's doing something like this, and then I get that done, and then I have the rest of the day where I don't really need to rely on my back as much. I can just chill and just enjoy the day relaxed. Since my last video, I now have sort of moved out. I have my own home with my girlfriend Ali, and I absolutely love it. The independence is fantastic, although obviously can be a challenge for somebody in my position. But again, I've learned to cope with this. It's my girlfriend works 4 days a week. She does bar work, so she tends to leave sort of mid-afternoon and doesn't get back till midnight, which means it leaves me alone in the house for most of the day. But, you know, I usually just stay in 1 or 2 places in the house. It doesn't really affect me. I can make food sort of well enough. The stuff I like to make anyway is achievable for me, and that's absolutely fine. So, although can be difficult for people with disability to get their own home, and I'm not saying if you're disabled and you don't live out that you're not, you know, achieving your goals or whatever, you can live a perfectly happy life with your parents. I did for a lot of years. But the independence that can bring, even on a sort of micro level, is definitely something that makes me feel a lot happier about my life, personally. One of the problems with CMT is that your feet tend to have a quite high arch and are like tilted to one side, so they're curved and tilted to one side, which means that for me, I pretty much now can't walk without my shoes on. It was something I could kind of do a little bit around the house last year, but now it's gotten to the point where without shoes on, I'm pretty much stuck in my chair or in a wheelchair or something like that. So unless I like have my crutches on, but even then, it's very painful and something I try and avoid. So now I tend to just have my shoes on all day. Shoes is one thing that can be quite difficult for people with Charcot-Marie-Tooth disease. And one thing I've certainly struggled with, going shopping for shoes used to be incredibly depressing, just trying to find shoes that I could fit my feet in. However, I discovered when I was about 15 or 16 that skate shoes and Jordans tend to be quite wide and they have a lot of room for your feet, no matter what shape they are. So since 3 or 4 years ago, I bought myself one pair of Jordans a year. I hated how expensive they are because they're usually £100, $150, something around that sort of area. But they make such a huge difference for me because they have such a thick sole and the bubble. They mean that even when your foot's trying to go onto one side, it kind of forces it to stay flat, which makes it a lot easier to walk for me anyway. But I thought that might be something useful to mention for other people as well. So Vans skate shoes are the same sort of thing. They've got the thick bottom, they're really wide, they're like better to get your feet in. So they might work for you if it's something you struggle with. Since my last video, I've gotten a new wheelchair. I can't remember the brand of it right now. I'll probably have a picture of me in it somewhere, like here, so you can see what it looks like. It's red, and I absolutely love it because A, it matches my crutches, as you can see in this picture, and B, it's just fantastic. Getting your own wheelchair is definitely something like you should try and do if you can, because you can rent wheelchairs from stores, obviously, and I did that for a long time because I couldn't afford my own wheelchair for one, and I wasn't sure if I really would get the use out of it. But I was lucky enough to find one on Gumtree that would usually retail for about £500, and I don't know what the guy's situation was he was selling it. He wasn't disabled himself, but he was only selling it for 50 quid, so I really got lucky there. It's definitely worth checking out things like Craigslist and in the UK Gumtree and any other sort of site like that. Obviously Facebook has its own market now. There's apps like Spock in the UK anyway, and they can be really useful to try and find walking aids and stuff you might not want to pay full retail for or may not be able to afford. So definitely look into stuff like that because it's helped me out to no end, because now I have my own wheelchair, and it means if we go somewhere that either isn't a store and they don't have ones we can borrow, or just generally wouldn't have that kind of thing there, that I can still sort of get around and have my own wheelchair that's always set at the right height for me. I know how it works and everything. I don't have to worry about any part of it being broken or loose, and which can be a huge pain in supermarkets, as I'm sure many of you will know. So definitely try to get your own wheelchair if you can, especially on those second-hand sites. So for this part of the video, I wanted to talk about what's kind of keeping me motivated, what's kind of keeping me positive, because I know a lot of you really sort of seem to appreciate my positive outlook on things. And I wanted my last video to be a positive video because, as I said there, a lot of these videos are depressing, and that's not what you want to be dealing with. You know, you want to see that someone is in a similar situation to you and they're doing well, so you can think that you can do well, because you can. You know, it's alright to say it for me, of course, that everyone can be positive, but I think everybody can find something to find some positivity in, something they can enjoy to do even with a disability, and everyone should try and do that because it really helps. So for me, I'm a professional, and I hate using that word and always do the bunny ears, musician. I play a few gigs a month if I have the energy and it's booked ahead of time, and that really keeps me going. It gives me something to rehearse for at home. It gives me something to learn through the day, whether I'm sat at my desk or whether I'm in bed. I can play my guitar. Even though the CMT does affect my hands, it's something I've learned to cope and deal with. And although they get worse over time, I'm still managing to play guitar and I'm still absolutely loving it. And not only that, but being creative in general is a very good way to give back to yourself and really keep positive, because it goes back to what I was saying before about trying to achieve something with your day, like something small like showering and getting dressed is great, obviously. But if you can channel something creative, like me with my music, then at the end of the day, you've done something. You know, whether it's just played a few of your favorite songs, or you've painted, or you've drawn, or anything like that, created something. It's something you've done, you've put time into, and you've got something back out of it. And that really can help. I've recently also started painting, which I'm really enjoying. I'll try and get a few pictures of my paintings up in this little section here. I'm completely and utterly new to it. I've loved to draw for a long time, but I hadn't for ages because of my hands. But I found that painting is a lot looser in terms of finite things, depending on what you want to paint, of course. I started watching Bob Ross on Netflix just because he is so relaxing, and thought, you know what, for about 20 quid I can get all the stuff you need. And it's just so relaxing just to put some music on, to paint for an hour or two. Even if what you create isn't fantastic, which my stuff certainly isn't, it just feels good to have done it. And then you can sit back and look and think, wow, today I really spent a couple of hours doing this, and I really enjoyed it, and I got something to show for it. I'm also into gaming, as you may be able to see behind me. I have quite a nice PC, and I also have an Xbox One, which I got recently. And that is a real time waster for me, I suppose you could say. You know, the thing to remember with disability and things like entertainment is that even when you're spending your time in bed, you shouldn't count that as free time because it isn't your fault that you're stuck there. Chances are you're going to be in pain and may not necessarily be enjoying it. You know, everybody thinks when you've got a disability, it must be fantastic to get to watch Netflix all day, or play games all day, or do nothing all day. And you know what, for the first 2 or 3 weeks where you think, right, well, this is it now, I'm not going to be able to work, this is me, it is fantastic, because you've got no responsibilities, you don't really have to worry about a lot of things, but eventually it gets fucking boring. So even outside of that time where you're stuck in bed, or, you know, bedbound or whatever, or anything like that, take other time for yourself, whether it's to game, to paint, for me, play music, whatever you're into. Take some time to do something for you. So, like I said, gaming for me is a big thing because that's still a time waster on top of my more productive free time, which is obviously my music. So I would definitely recommend getting into gaming if it's something you've enjoyed at all. It's something you can do lying down in bed, being totally comfortable, and it can take a lot of time out of the day if you're really bored. So I would definitely recommend doing that. So now for me, the plan is to try and do 1 or 2 disability-oriented videos a week. Whether this be on things that are happening to me in a sort of vlog style like this, whether it be something that's in the news involving disability, or whether it just be a general topic on disability, such as I was thinking of doing a video on walking aids, because that's something that people maybe don't know a lot about and are scared to sort of ask people about or don't know anything about, or about other disability related things. And again, if you have any kind of thing you'd like me to talk about, or you have any questions or any suggestions that I should talk about, please do put it down in the comments because I'd love to hear from you. I really am enjoying helping people with this, and I really want to keep doing this and taking it further. I will also be continuing with my music videos here on YouTube, which, although less popular than my last CMT video, are still something I enjoy doing. So if you subscribe to me, you will see the disability videos, but you will also see my music videos. Now, if you don't like one or the other, you don't have to watch, but if you do, then please do watch both of them, because I love making music videos and covers and write my own stuff, and I love doing stuff like this as well. So it'll be keeping going. And I'm probably going to leave it there. Thank you so much for watching if you have been. Again, this is not my usual content, but something I'm really interested and enjoying to do in the future. So thank you so much for watching. If you've liked this video, it would help me out a ton if you could hit the like button down below. And also, like I say, you can subscribe for either my music videos and this sort of video, which will be going out more often. Thanks so much for watching, you guys. Bye.